Welcome back to Nick Lenz's novel reviews. This is episode number 54. And this one just got one book, and it's a Star Wars book. And it's Star Wars The Legends of Luke Skywalker by Ken Liu. And there's some illustrations in this book done by J.G. Jones. Here's an example of this gorgeous in these gorgeous illustrations. I think he does the cover as well. Yeah, basically this story is just a series of one-shot stories told by various people who they think is Luke Skywalker. A lot of the, pretty much almost all of them, except for like one I can think of, where a lot of them are pretty much just made-up stories that people think who is Luke Skywalker, and it's just Luke Skywalker being told stories about himself. There's one guy who apparently he doesn't believe that the Death Star even existed. He thought that the Alderaan was destroyed via two well-placed torpedoes along the fault line, despite the fact it's in public knowledge for years at this point that it was the Death Star that destroyed the Alderaan, not two placed torpedoes. And also, there's one guy who made the story that Luke Skywalker never existed, apparently, which is a code name. Yeah, apparently his name was actually real name was actually Luke Cloudbringer, and apparently he ran away from his aunt and uncle. I'm like, seriously? Yeah, a lot of these stories you read them, some of them are pretty interesting, and some of them would just tick you off. Like, no, this is not how what happened in the films. But that's just the way these stories are. They're meant to make you happy or angry at the same time. There's one that actually takes place during the events of Return of the Jedi that is pretty accurate to how it's depicted in the film, except that there is this creature who's in the story who tells us, and apparently he's telling Luke to use the Force, and the way he describes Luke is completely inaccurate description. He describes him as a walking mountain man. Yeah, especially on this cover. Here's the thing, Luke Skywalker is a thin guy because Mark Hamill was pretty thin at the time when he did these films back in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. But there's even one story in here where he poses as a protocol droid, where he looks like he wears an attire similar to that. He puts on a suit that makes him look like a silver version of C-3PO. I am not kidding about that. Yeah, there's one where he teams up where he what looks like to be a version of Hoth. Yeah, where he uses a lightsaber in battle, even though in the actual film itself, during the Battle of Hoth, he only used lightsaber once the entire time the film was going on. Yeah, that's just the thing with this. It's just a series of tales. It just you can call this book an anthology book, and pretty much all the stories are completely not canon to the Star Wars mythos. I mean, the whole point of this is just to give something about Luke Skywalker. This is by far the third novel to feature him of new canon. You can say some of the stories. Excuse me. Excuse me. You can say the connecting stories featuring the guy in the hood, which is probably Luke Skywalker, anyways. You can say those are basically canon, but in the case of the actual stories themselves, they're probably not canon at all. And there's no like actual chapters in here. Just these series of short stories with interludes. There's like 5 of them in here. And this book is actually quite long for a book that's a junior fiction book. This is by far the longest one I've read that's considered to be junior fiction. This book is 425 pages long. I'm not kidding about that. It really is. Look how thick this book is. This is a junior fiction book, for crying out loud. And yeah, this is what the library categorizes it. Junior fiction. Yes. A junior fiction book that's over 400 pages. I expect this for a regular novel of Star Wars, but not a junior fiction book. Especially as a lot of the stuff you can say, I don't know why the library categorized this as junior fiction, even though the book, I wouldn't mind this categorized as young adult, but junior fiction? Seriously? Yeah, that's something I don't get about the library. They categorize this as junior fiction, even though this can easily fit as a regular Star Wars book. Yeah, I don't know what was going through the minds of the library when they did this. But yeah, I'm not gonna openly criticize the library I got this from, but it is enjoyable for what it is. Not much else to say about this particular book. Otherwise, though, if you're a fan of Luke Skywalker, check it out. Yeah, that's the only thing I recommend for. I don't recommend this to hardcore Star Wars fans because this book is not necessarily. It's not necessary to read. It's just something for something that features Luke Skywalker, and plus also the reason why they did this is because well he's a heavy part of the Last Jedi, a film that got a lot of mixed reception. I personally enjoyed The Last Jedi. Unlike some idiots who basically didn't like it so much they had to launch a stupid fan petition to get removed from the Star Wars canon, which I think is stupid. Look, the film was already made. I highly doubt Kathleen Kennedy is going to take this fan petition seriously because even she probably feels as though this fan petition is stupid. Yeah, and I haven't heard any updates about the stupid fan petition anyways, or how many signatures it's got so far. The only one I did hear for fan petitions that came out last year, which was 3 of them, that actually got some traction was the one for the release of the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. At least that one makes sense. The one for Last Jedi removed from the Star Wars canon, that makes 0 sense at all. But yeah, so like with Force Awakens, they release this banner on top. That's Journey to the Last Jedi. Does this mean this will set up some stuff that will happen in the actual film itself? No. This book has nothing to do with Last Jedi at all, except for just stuff to do with Luke Skywalker. Yeah, they just put that there for just marketing purposes. That's the only reason why they put that there. Yeah. But in the case of Phasma, that definitely did deal with what happened in Last Jedi, because she was actually featured in Last Jedi. Though her screen time was less than Luke Skywalker's, in the case of Luke Skywalker, he was in it for a good chunk of the film. Phasma's screen time was a good 10 minutes. But yeah, her book is considered a regular fiction book, and the one for Luke Skywalker, a guy who's got more screen time than she did, and yet this book is considered dream fiction, which honestly makes no sense. But aside from that, I'm going to give this book a 8 out of 10. It's a pretty decent book for what it is. Like I said, I only recommend this to Luke Skywalker fans. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for whenever I get a chance to episode 55. It's only been... I don't think it's been that long since my last episode. I think it's only been a week since the last episode. Yeah, as for what book I'm going to do next, I don't know. Right now, my next book I'm going to be reading is a Richard Castle book, which I don't plan on reviewing that. Nothing against the writer and how maybe the book good, how good the book may be, but I just currently don't have any plans to review it. But as for what book I'm going to review next, honest answer, I have no idea. But whenever I get a chance to do it, I'll probably get a chance to do something for the 56th episode. Who knows when it will happen, but it'll probably happen sometime in the future. Alright, and I know this one's kind of shorter than my usual videos, but the thing is, there wasn't much to talk about when it comes to that Star Wars book. The only reason I reviewed it is because I review Star Wars and Star Trek books, occasionally James Bond, Doctor Who. Yeah, but that's just the way it is, right? So, to see my next video, which, excuse me, it's going to be my review of the Rurouni Kenshin films. It'll be the 7th, at least the, I think it's probably the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it'll probably be the 7th part of the anime review series. Yeah, part 7, which we'll talk about all 3 films. I'm basically about partway through the second. I watched the first one already. I will get my thoughts on it soon. Alright, so until you see you all in my next episode, bye.